It's time for Gardening Inside Out, a live show offering you plant advice for any space in your life. Introducing your perennial hosts, David Bates and Josh Carey.
Hey there, welcome in everybody. It's Saturday morning. It's time for Gardening Inside Out, coming to you from Bates Nursery and Garden Center and the Green Room Studios here. Welcome in, everyone. Good morning, David Bates.
Good morning, Josh. Glad to be here. Glad to see you here today.
I'm glad to see you, David.
Glad everyone could join us,
Yes.
and we'll just go ahead and get right into the weather and
nice.
talk about that. It's actually been really a wonderful, quite pleasant week, and that trend continues at least for a few more days. We are going to experience 87 degrees, cloudy conditions today. It could be random drizzle here or there, but
Random.
yes, it could be random. And tomorrow, Sunday, a little cooler, but a greater chance of thunderstorms, maybe a half inch or a bit more. 80 for the high, 72 for the overnight low. Monday, a little warmer and a few more showers, 45, 0.45 inches possibly, 88, 74. And then the warm-up begins on Tuesday, where we get back into the 90s, 94, 74 Tuesday, 96, 76 on Wednesday, Thursday, pretty much that on Friday. Currently 71 degrees here in the Music City. We'll give a check of the radar quickly, and you'll see there is there's some storm things out to the south and the east and to the due east and off the coast and everywhere. So in the eastern U.S., there's some evidence of the threat of showers. We have had 11 hundredths of an inch this week at Bates Nursery. I know in Rutherford County, Josh, it's been considerably more than that.
Yes.
I mean, actually, we had some people doing some work for us here. They had equipment they couldn't get out because they'd had over 3 inches where they were, wherever it was in Rutherford County.
Well, the Bates Weather Gauge 2000 X Pro that I got from the Garden Center over here.
Yeah.
Inch and a half in one storm.
In one shot.
One shot.
We have avoided those here, but the conditions are nice, and it's all things are good. And again, it is 71.2 degrees here in the Music City. We're glad to have everyone in today, and of course, we're especially glad to have our talent we have here and a plethora thereof. Caroline Gant, Austin Lowen.
There they are.
Welcome in, guys.
Good morning.
And also a big shout out, Tyler Blankenship across the way.
Tyler Cam.
Get that live Tyler Cam up there. We'll make sure.
Yeah.
Oh, live.
He is live. He's live. There
I
he
am
is.
unmuted now, too. Great way to be.
Yeah.
Live and unmuted.
So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And hey, it's
Good
creeping
morning,
up here
Margaret.
on the end of July.
That's wild.
It's about this time next week. It'll be nothing but a memory.
You're right.
And I know there's a lot of gardening things going on. We certainly have no shortage of things happening here at the nursery as we prepare to complete our pavement renovation project. I will be so glad. I am over it. There's a lot of preparations to be done, and
You're not over it.
He's over it.
He's dragging
He
it
seems
out.
like he's over it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's anyway. We're looking forward to having that behind us.
Yes.
We're going to have a day, maybe two, where we've kind of we'll be routing people around our front parking area. There's Tyler has put so if you come in the front gate, you'll see that there won't be that big white line down the middle of the parking lot, but that is descriptive of, and all that where the red hash marks are, that's where we're going to be paving. So that's a really good shot. Temporarily, we do have a gate that we unlock, and we have a temporary entrance that will be ready to use. Looks like to me that will actually be Wednesday. Yeah, maybe only Wednesday. We're going to try to just do it to a singular day, and but you will be directed to drive all the way down and park on that opposite end, so that as you make your way in. It'll be a little different experience for you, but it's the same stuff. You just come from the opposite direction. And if you, on Wednesday, on that day, if you pay with cash, you have to come back up front through all, cart up and back. Anyway, it's,
if they want change.
If they had exact change,
yes,
we
they want change, everything would just be a tip after.
It's anyway. We got no shortage of change going on here at Bates Nursery, and I bet you we have questions to go with these changes. But before we get into that, what's on your guys' minds, huh?
Weeds. So weeds in my garden beds.
Oh, that's no joke.
It's out of control. That passion flower that I haven't talked about in a minute that I planted, not our native passion flower, has eaten my side bed because I have not been keeping up with weeding that.
Well, you need to get out there.
I know.
Get out there and pull it.
It's
no,
just
I'm kind of with you. I was talking to a guest the other day, and he was like, it was Lee, actually. Hey, Lee, how are you? You came out to buy some pots the other day, and you were like, it's that time of year where I'm just like, I don't feel like doing it anymore. It's like, these weeds are just a lot, and the plants are a lot.
This is the time of year where I encourage people to think about how you feel right now before you plant your garden next year.
Yeah.
Because most people, I would say 80%, plant 4 times more than they can ever take care of. And by the time in July, mid-August time frame arrives, most people are just done with it.
They're over it. Yes.
I mean, my goodness, it's just.
And then we got to start thinking, it's not too early to start thinking about what we're going to plant in our gardens for the fall.
No,
okay.
I'm not ready.
We got to start thinking about it.
Well, we got to start thinking about cleaning up the other summer stuff. You know, those cucumbers that are starting to play out, and the squash that you maybe planted early, and it's starting to just kind of get
the Thai basil that burned up.
There you go. I mean, anything that needs to just kind of be cleaned up and getting out of there, like it's probably about time to do that. And then you kind of chill for a minute, and then you're like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready for this fall stuff.
Be all ready to go.
So maybe that's the way to go.
My tomatoes have gone crazy this year.
Yeah, tomatoes it's been a good year for tomatoes.
Beautiful,
I have a ton.
beautiful foliage. I'm not getting as much produce as I thought I was going to.
Yeah,
I did cut back. I cut back by about a quarter.
Now, who is it in our troop? Did Glenn also bring in all the Roma?
Yeah.
I mean, for those of you who are canners, I don't know who may have availed themselves to them, but
you know who took those tomatoes. Terry. Yesterday, Terry took them all home and said she's making salsa.
There you go.
She took home like 10 pounds of tomatoes.
Glenn brought
I carried
so
them to her
much
car.
tomatoes.
I have 14 pints at the proving grounds already. So, I mean,
nice.
it's all
Good for you.
to go. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, the one thing I wanted to bring up before we got started was, folks, you need to come out here before Wednesday and just appreciate how big this place is. When it's empty, you understand the volume of stuff that is here when it is full. You can't really appreciate it until you stand out in the middle of that big parking lot that's out there.
There's a lot of gray matter right now.
Wow.
The old pavement is gray compared to the new pavement, which is black, and so it's.
And the Batestream is amazing. It looks fantastic.
Well, it is pretty incredible just how having a new, really smooth surface accentuates the plants that are on there. They really look. It's a lot more intense, the looks.
Oh, they just pop. I mean, the plants pop off of that black asphalt. And you ain't lying, Josh. Like, you nailed it. Yesterday, literally, a guest said that. He said, I didn't realize how big this place is until you see it, half of it with nothing on it.
Right.
And you're like, this is only half.
And then you get to appreciate. Now, you come out here, say, about the 15th of April, when it is overflowing. And
busting.
You have overflow. How much plant material is actually on this facility?
Oh, it's incredible.
It's incredible. You really should.
By next year, at that time, we'll have we'll have fully adjusted to all of it and take it for granted at that point. So,
No, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, we got Caroline some new little shopping carts.
I was just thinking
Wow.
about that. Listen, I have been in love with my shopping carts. I've been wrangling them.
She's been showing everybody across. She's literally taking a shopping cart and showing every employee, like, "Hey, look at my new cart."
They're excited. And listen, if you have been to this nursery and you've pushed one of our carts, try to push it through houseplants, you know how it is. Those aisles are small because we have a lot of inventory in there. Nothing against our older carts, but they're just not made for that indoor shopping.
Right.
So we even have cup holders in our carts. So you go to the coffee shop, you come on out with your iced coffee, you can put it in a little cup holder. It's got a purse hanger. It's got a small little area where you can put small things like seeds.
Purse hanger sounds like some kind of a flowering plant, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah,
it
it
really
should be
does. The
one.
purse
It's
hanger.
not, yeah.
Oh, Caroline, you love your carts.
I do. And listen, people are going to love
mean,
them.
look,
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Those aren't the carts, but
That's
if-
Tyler just showing off what we got.
If you're really tall, say if you're about 8 feet tall, this is the way it looks walking through.
You know, the section that is probably the best one in the Bates Room,
What?
B9. Think about it. That's got to be the
B9,
best. That's
yeah.
got to be the very best section in
Well,
the
yeah,
entire Bates
it's at least it's the least. If there's a harmful section, it's the one that's not harmful because it's benign.
Oh, it's just amazing. Peaceful. All right.
I heard it too.
Got it.
All right.
that's a gorgeous photo.
bet we got
or,
questions.
I guess, video. We do have some questions. Are we ready? I mean, I guess Tyler doesn't have a picture of the carts, but that's okay. I'm just
Tyler,
kidding.
no cart picture.
Dang, Caroline.
I should have brought one in and just put it on the Lazy Susan. As
We were
a-
going to make an Instagram thing.
Oh,
But we
it's
didn't.
We should have decorated with carts with plants.
And we do have a
just
special
have to
note
come here and use
that
them.
those are to only be used on paved areas.
Right, there's a sticker.
Yes, and I know it won't be. Sometime next week there'll be somebody rolling them down through the gravel tree line, and go, "Why won't this thing go?" Well, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a
Sticker.
reason why.
very good.
But come out, shop in the house plants, put your iced coffee in that cup holder in those fancy new carts. All right, we already have a live question in from Samara on YouTube.
Hey,
She's-
Samara.
Good morning, Samara. She says, "Help, the mosquitoes are literally eating me alive. I don't live anywhere near water. Are there any plants that truly help deter them? I really don't want to spray because of the bees."
Very good.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you there on spraying, but I mean, as long as you're not spraying like flowering plants, you're not really going to be affecting bees all that much. But yeah, mosquitoes are no fun. They're not plant bugs, so we don't really talk about mosquitoes all that much. But there are plants that help. Citronella is the biggest one. Okay, the scented geranium. It's technically a geranium if you didn't know that. And the problem is that it's a deterrent, but it's not necessarily just going to like get rid of your problem.
There's standing water somewhere, and the number
Gutters.
one gutters is the number one spot where it
Gutters.
hides because you don't ever get
don't
up there
see
and
'em.
look.
Yep.
So you need to take a moment. It may just be some debris that's accumulated in some spot
One
that's
little
allowing it to pool up. Get up there and get those cleaned out.
David, what
Yeah.
about the most underused section of the home?
Well, I mean that's
I
the
mean,
crawl
you got-
space.
Samara, you're going to need to open up the, if you don't live on a slab,
Get down there and crawl around.
and there might be some standing water down there too. Happens a lot, folks.
Yep.
So, especially as moist as it's
Yeah,
been.
and
Yeah.
you've got air conditioning units
Yep.
that have
Yep.
condensate drains, and if it's not draining in the right spot or absorbing in, so
There's
there
splash
there,
blocks.
there are, and of course we've been getting these rains. So
Yeah.
if you've got areas that water has any opportunity to stand at all, you will have mosquito larvae. The eggs will get laid. They will incubate and hatch, and then you'll know quickly.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're one of those people who are highly susceptible to them. I can be outside with my wife Renee, and they don't even touch me,
Same with me.
and they wear her.
Well,
out.
aren't y'all lucky?
It's the same with me. Yeah, I don't know what
I'm
it
a
is.
mosquito magnet.
And if you're a gardener too, which we all typically are, you have pots. I had a pot that I left that was just sitting out. It had collected a little bit of water because the plug was left in it. I looked in there and there's just mosquito larvae just swimming.
Ew.
The
They're so
little
gross,
trays
too.
that are on the bottom.
Yeah, the
think
trays,
there-
anything.
I think there's some dietary things you can do. I've always heard that if you eat garlic and take like B vitamins, that it tends to make you less
susceptible.
Yeah.
Just make you smelly. Hey, Miriam said, look up how to make mosquito bucket of doom.
I was literally trying to say that.
Miriam.
Miriam.
Hello.
Good morning,
Oh, look,
Miriam.
we're Tyler Cam
No, you're
Live.
not.
Yeah, we were.
Nope.
Yeah, we saw it.
No.
If you don't
Wait,
wanna
we
Miriam
were
spray-
saw
Tyler
it.
Cam Live?
Yeah,
No.
we were.
If you don't want to spray spray the
Put it back up.
plants, Skin So Soft works, folks.
Oh, that's what my
Absolutely.
mom would
Yep.
spray us with when we were
Absolutely.
kids.
Really?
Yeah, for bug spray.
Yeah.
Avon, Skin So Soft.
Absolutely works.
Yep.
Cool.
It
No
does.
deed.
There you go, Samara.
And it smells pretty good. All right, on Facebook,
Yeah.
we got a comment about the improvements that we're making. Love all the improvements going on, although it's hard to improve on perfection.
Oh, well,
I
that
love
is
shopping there.
sweet.
We do work
Smitten.
at it. We're a far piece from perfection. but I tell you what, it's easy to make good things happen when you have a group of individuals all pulling the same direction. And I think that's the biggest asset we've got going on at Bates Nursery is that we've got an incredible team, and I'm
It's a good
very
team.
fortunate to get to head that group up. It's it makes life possible for me. So
And that came
Well-
from Susan on Facebook.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Susan.
Susan.
Yes,
Susan.
thank you.
And I agree. And you know what, David? It starts at the top. There's a reason why we care so much, and it's because you care about us.
Well, I tried to get input from everybody. I mean, makes a little sense to have all these intelligent people around who are and not use their observations because they're seeing
go.
the things that I don't see. I kind of have this view from a little wider frame and
30,000 footer.
Well, I don't know if it's 30,000, but it's
15, 18,000.
It may be it's maybe a little wider out. So I can't, many times the tales get past me that others see very clearly, and I go,
Oh,
That's good.
Teamwork. That's why we're team. Hey, let's talk about crepe myrtle. We got a couple
Oh,
questions
yeah.
about
okay.
crepe
Now,
myrtle.
Tyler and I had a crepe myrtle discussion before the show this morning. When only he and I, yes,
Yeah.
and it's the two spellings
Secret.
of crepe.
Ah.
CRAPE, which is what I normally associate
Correct.
with the
French.
horticultural spelling of it, and CREPE, which is the more French. Talking about, to me that
they
means
taste better.
yes.
yeah, I think it does taste better.
So-
You're right.
They're both
Savory or sweet, dude?
Horticulturally
Need to be a
acceptable.
savory guy.
I don't eat
They-
either one of
You
them.
can use them
man.
interchangeably. So if anyone shames you, don't just say no.
Don't
We're
take
good.
the crepe shame.
Yeah.
Don't do it. But let's answer some questions about them.
Oh.
How to get rid of crepe myrtle shoots that keep popping up after the
Shoot,
tree was
dang.
removed. Oh, shoot.
Oh, after it's been removed.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
so you
tree
got-
is gone, but it's still
Oh
going.
gosh, my
growing.
mom, Mama, hey, how are you? She's got the same issue. She's got crepe myrtles that we dug up for her. My brother dug them up actually, and they keep coming back. This sucker sprouts. If you have any roots in the ground, it's like crepe myrtle keeps coming back. So it's really annoying. It's kind of hard to deal with, but as much root as you can dig up and out physically is probably your best bet. There is like, there's like a stump. What am I trying to say, David?
Stump
The herbicide.
Stump out?
though.
Stump out.
Yeah, like a stump out where you can like.
It's triclopyr is what
Yeah.
the active ingredient is.
And it's
Ooh.
a pretty stout herbicide that
You
typically
ain't
works
kidding.
pretty well, but actually getting it totally out of there is pretty tricky without just really digging the whole area because they want to come back.
I want to come back.
So every
pretty
time
much
you
wants
see
to
one,
grow.
take your little hand shovel and dig a little hole, dig it down as far as you can, and get it out. Just don't break it off at the ground.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, gardening is work.
Yes.
And sometimes
What?
hard work. Yes, especially crepe myrtle. Oh my God, crepe
Now
myrtle.
you tell me.
Whew, their stems and sticks and bark is so hard. Like I do not
is
like
hard
pruning
work.
crepe myrtle. They are hard on the hands. Like if you're hand pruning it all, it's annoying.
Not fun. You're about to prune your big one, right? We talked
I am.
about that on the podcast.
I am gonna prune that over the winter. Tyler's coming to my house. Tyler,
We're
Yeah.
going to get a video.
Okay.
you're coming,
Yeah.
and we're gonna prune my crepe myrtle because it's bad. It's getting too big. It's getting too leggy. I don't like it. It's blooming right now. It looks okay.
The 1.5-inch storm that came through the 37167 laid mine almost to the ground.
Oh.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. I
I
actually
have the
did
bush for him.
Yeah,
So-
I did a job the other day for a guy where I pruned his Japanese maples, actually, but I looked at his crepe myrtles, and it had just rained at his house. His blooms were huge. They looked great, but they were just flopped.
On the ground.
Not on the ground, no, but they
No?
were flopped down over his sidewalk. I had to duck to get up underneath it
Oh,
to
wow.
look at it. But yeah,
Uh-oh.
that's what they do sometimes, y'all.
Yes.
It's part of it.
Yep, plants do wild things. How about what are the best pruning practices to train a young crepe myrtle?
Oh, I like this question. This is good. Okay, so we're going to do this over the wintertime. We're going to observe this when it has no leaves, okay? You're going to look at the stems, and you're going to pick those stems that you really like. We're going to get rid of those stems that are crossing or, like, don't look good. Yes, just like that.
so.
Crossing.
Like that.
What we want is this open vase shape. What I like is, like, 5 main stems that are going in their own direction in this perfect vase shape. And let's start the framework. This is the framework of the plant, okay? So we're getting those stems that we want to keep, and then we probably top to make sure we have a nice bushy, plant.
What?
Go from there.
Do that.
Yes.
Bushy
Yes, yes,
explosion.
I'm like, yeah, I'm just like spitting all over the place, I feel like. But yeah, Tyler.
Bushy
There it
explosion.
So yeah, so a young crepe myrtle just needs to get its framework established, and then it's going to do its thing.
And then it's
And you
gonna
know
go.
what? You need to feed it, and you need to feed it in the spring with something that we have here.
What do we have?
Well, you know what? You could consider supernatural, and not
compost.
only springtime, you can really use that anytime because it's a 100% organic input or amendment. You know, it's not sold as a fertilizer, but your plants can't tell that it's not because it's very
They can't read.
highly fertile, and there are a lot of the very best things used as ingredients in supernatural, including worm castings and mushroom compost. Chicken litter.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's high fertility, high organic content, and supernatural is available all over the Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, Northern Alabama, North Carolina, and in one spot out in Idaho.
Idaho.
Yep, and that's earthmix.net. You can, matter of fact, if you want to go see where, go to earthmix.net, click on the Find Earthmix tab, and a map will come up and it'll show you all the little places. There's Garden by Teresa B. Bryant, way out over in North Carolina, and out west we've got Victory Gardens Nursery. And all these places in between, and you can zoom in to get a much closer look to see where everyone is. And
You need Tulsa.
or you can put your address in for turn-by-turn directions for the location nearest you. Make sure you go see our many friends all over the area. We're really fortunate to have a great network of companies, independent retailers who sell the Earth Mix brand, because there's a lot of products that are organic, but are they highly productive? Or do the plants really perform at their optimal? And that's what you get when you get Earth Mix garden products. All the best stuff, 100% organic. There are absolutely no chemical additives whatsoever. And when you plant something in one of the prepared mixes, such as Garden or Proganics O or Proganics I, you don't have to add any fertilizer for probably at least 6 weeks because it's that naturally fertile. So check out the entire line of products on the website or at your nearest retailer. Remember this, success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products. And we appreciate you giving us a moment to talk about that and help take the work out of gardening. Austin's already talked about how hard gardening can be, so we don't want everything we can do to make it easier. That's what we try to do. So Earth Mix is one of those things you can do, and you have control over it.
That's
It's on sale right now. By the way, everything's on sale right now. 20% off everything.
Yeah, it's at Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Sorry,
You're all fired up, Austin.
You are.
Jumping the gun.
It just hit me. It just came to
did.
me.
Well,
Yeah.
good. That's a good thing. Just
Well,
hold that thought.
You're probably getting fired up because it's almost time for something.
Feeling it.
What's
Oh.
in bloom? with Austin.
It's so big and then it goes so small. Okay,
With
y'all, there's things blooming. A lot of the same things blooming, but you know what? Let's just go with it. Hey, it's been the week of sedum. Sedum is
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
right now, y'all. Hey.
If you see
love
them,
it.
believe me.
Uh-huh. And then, you know, my girl, Veronica, Speedwell. She's so fast. She's blooming. The candles
She's so
poking
fast.
up. She is. Uh-huh. The Speedwell. I mean, it's her comment.
Yeah.
She's so fast. Allium's still going, almost done, but they're still going.
love that plant.
Look, daylilies, they've been blooming for like 12 months.
The whole year, really.
Yeah, almost the whole year. Your phlox told me, still going. We
going.
brought phlox in the
Yeah.
studio. Good job on that because they are money.
Too bad we don't have smell-o-vision today. It's
It's amazing. In here.
Oh, the phlox is so good. And then right behind it, we've got some echinacea still blooming, and we got some black-eyed Susan still blooming. And you know what I noticed yesterday, real quick,
What?
is that I saw those blooming in the shade. Now, I don't recommend planting them in the shade, but these were, and they've been, the woods are above them, and like there's a lot of shade.
Let me see those woods
Still
again.
blooming. This big,
What?
Davis.
Okay.
That big. Those are the woods. Uh-huh.
Is that an
Still
explosion?
blooming. Yeah. People are always like, can I put this in the shade? And I'm like, I don't recommend it, but it'll probably be okay.
I've got
the
some
blooms
in-
were smaller.
In part shade. The blooms are small,
A little
but they
smaller.
still bloom like crazy.
See?
It's actually the little patch, the photo that I brought in a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that just gets morning sun until about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, so that's
Full
cool.
bloom.
I just noticed that yesterday. It was sweet. All right, Russian sage. Oh, it's that soft blue. It's that Mediterranean feel. Love it. Hey, Caroline, my clematis is reshooting blooms again.
Oh, is
I'm not
it?
letting it go. I never will.
Tyler.
Tyler, Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler. Oh,
No.
what is that?
Yeah, one little. Yeah.
My crossvine is Tyler. Also, look how clean those leaves are. Let's go back to that other picture.
Oh, cute.
Oh,
cute. Too little.
wow.
Is that
As Austin
is that
says,
the show?
clean and
is that
green.
what you get?
It has some more blooms on it.
No, it doesn't.
But it is still blooming.
Okay, crossvine. I just added it to the list. Caroline's
Okay.
is blooming.
You're not
Whatever.
gonna say how good that looks.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, Bridget, your grasses are blooming. Love you, Bridge. Okay, butterfly bush, Reesh, I still see you. Hydrangeas. Y'all, if you're lucky enough to have the Endless Summer Collection and they bloom this year, you are lucky. Okay, the blues, the pinks, the round blooms, they're going right now, y'all. Looking good. I like them. Clean. They're really, really clean. You know what's not clean? My hibiscus. Yuck.
Oh.
I'm done with hibiscus. Done with it. Perennial hibiscus, I'm done with it in my yard.
You're gonna pull it up, throw it in the woods.
We'll dig it up, throw it in the woods. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig it because its roots are.
Really?
Yes, I'm done with it, Josh. I'm sorry. I'll talk to you about this later.
Oh, man.
Okay, Vitex. Listen, Vitex is not blooming anymore if you didn't cut it. But if you decided to deadhead and cut those old blooms off, you got a reflush right now. So if you're good about cutting that, it will rebloom, and they are blooming. Rose of Sharon going nuts.
Is it too late for my Vitex, Austin?
It's. What do you mean? Is it too late?
If we
for you?
wanted
well, I
to
mean,
rebloom.
mine's all bloomed out.
Well,
and
cut it back, Tyler.
Okay.
And then in 2 weeks, I'll talk about yours.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Rose of Sharon, like I said, still going, still dropping blooms
Wow.
too every single day. Yep. Crepe myrtle season. That's what we do. It's flopping after it rains. That's what happens. Caroline, your mimosas reblooming again.
Yep.
Once again. Golden rain tree still throwing a little, but just about done. We got our natives, y'all. Ironweed throwing purple. That good purple too. Clethra just about done, but still going, smelling like honey. Beautyberry, still in bloom. Tiny little blooms, but they're
those are
cute.
cute.
Passion flower. Caroline, you know about that. The coolest bloom on the planet. Not yours. Our native one. Our good one.
Yeah. Do your research before you plant things.
That's right. Okay, and then Josh.
What's that?
I don't know. The cucurbits. I thought about saying that
The
word.
cucurbits.
The cucurbits. That's the
great.
melon family of
Oh,
plants.
yeah, baby.
Cucurbita. Yeah, they're still blooming. As I was driving out this morning, I saw so many yellow blooms on all my squash and melons and all the things that are running. That's cool. Tomatoes blooming. Mine are blooming good. I planted way late, so they're like in bloom right now. Starting their flower set. Hey, moonflower still going. Just waking up in the mornings, just like us. Sunflowers still popping, getting ready to be done. Surprise lilies are still surprising us.
Yeah, I
And
see 'em
I'm
all-
still surprised.
All in ditches on my drive-in.
I saw one yesterday growing up in the field in the back.
Oh, back there?
I was back near. I mean, how did this one get back here?
You've got one in your backyard
Yes,
over.
just one.
Yeah,
right now.
just
But
one.
Then there's one way down there near the creek, and I go, how did
How?
this get?
It's so perfect that they're called surprise lilies because they just surprise you.
They do.
They really
Don't they
do.
just surprise you?
It makes
just
you go.
like-
It makes you go.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Caroline made me write down zinnias.
I did. Because
She
mine are in
made
full bloom.
Zinnias are blooming.
I'm like,
Josh
really?
is excited too.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what though? Shout out to my girl Cheech. I went to her house the other day. Her name's Channing. She's growing zinnias, and she was like, I was like, Cheech, your zinnias look great. And she was like, but you don't like zinnias. I saw your video. And I'm like,
Oh, she called you out.
she called me out. And I'm like, you know what, though? I like your zinnias in your yard. I don't need them in mine.
man.
Right.
But in your yard, they're money. Shout out, Cheech. Love you. You're my girl. And then at the end, final one, Cleome. What y'all know about Cleome?
I know a lot about that
It's that
plant.
wacky old weed. It looks like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Seed
But
pods grow like
they
that.
they
It's
do not quit
crazy.
blooming. That they don't.
They don't, and if you don't have sterile one, you will be pulling them up
For years and
for
years and forever and ever.
years and years.
Cleome just reseeds everywhere, and it constantly blooms, and
It looks like a spider.
it
Wow.
does.
Something.
People call it spider something. People call it spider something.
It doesn't surprise me.
There you go. That's what's in bloom.
There you
Wow.
go.
Book's closed.
I got one question, Tyler. You
Way to go! I mean,
Wow.
I thought he did a good job of regulating his enthusiasm.
Breath.
I did. I
I
kept
thought he was
sustaining
going to
it
pass
through
out there
it.
about halfway
He's
I know.
close.
Past couple of weeks, I got a little too loud.
Melodious
Marathon.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we had one that I've got a question as to if we can get it up and just take it.
Was that the little Hosta one?
No, that wasn't a little hostile one. It was
No?
Come on.
It was
Come on,
the
TY.
Hey, don't no.
okay. No
What?
worries.
Which not that one?
That one?
No?
Not that one. Okay,
Oh.
we can't see it.
Okay. Oh. I'm in my own world.
All right, where are we at? Oh.
That
Okay. Now, these were purchased as Lycoris radiata.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't what that is it?
It looks like it could be a Lycoris.
Yes.
I'm not sure about the species.
The radiata is white. They're red.
Oh.
Okay.
Sometimes things get purchased. and
Interesting.
It's not exactly what it is.
You know,
They came from the internet, so you know.
in defense of whomever handled it, yeah,
pretty.
when
they're pretty.
they're dormant, they all look the same.
Yeah.
You can't possibly tell them apart. So you know, that's the problem with some things like
Yes.
that. And labeling things when they're dormant is difficult.
Yes.
That's why it's a good idea if you really want to keep track of things in your garden, need to be getting them identified and marked properly while they're in flower and
We
growing.
keep all the labels, David. I've got
Well,
we've got a
I'm talking
scrapbook
about, you know, some
just of
people,
labels.
you know, there are these,
Come on.
there's like these little copper labels you can scratch on, you know,
Cool.
that, you know, and they
Yeah.
look nice and they're permanent.
Uh-huh. Speaking of that, though, Josh, it's funny. Like a lot of guests that we have that come out here will bring like literally, it's like a fanny pack or something full of tags, and they'll bring out their tags and they'll be sorting through and be like, "I bought this like 10 years ago," and they
Got
still
one?
have their tags, and I'm like, "Hey,
That's
you're-
amazing.
I know.
I wish
Well,
I had
we
saved some
actually
of
can
them.
Helpful.
look at our code on there. You
Yeah.
know, you can say, actually, that was 9 years, but you know, who's counting?
That's right." All right.
All right, let's talk about hydrangeas.
Oh my gosh,
Oh boy.
my
Pete-
love,
Your love. Well, one of them.
Oh.
Pink flowers.
Veronica.
Allium.
Veronica.
Veronica. That's just your love this
I was more of a
Yeah.
Betty person myself. I don't know about-
Beetles in my limelight hydrangeas. What gets rid of them?
Oh, this is a good question. This is very relevant, actually. We
It
have
is.
this problem here at the nursery, and it's called flea beetle. Typically, it's this little black beetle that will make little holes in your hydrangea, and it's more of a problem in the nursery setting. It seems like because of the amount of plants that we have and the amount of hydrangeas certainly that we carry. You don't see it in the home garden near as much, but if you do have it, it can certainly be a problem. You have to use sprays that are a little bit more harsh than just like a neem or a soap, like. They're not all that effective against flea beetle. They call them flea beetle because they're a little beetle, and whenever you touch them or aggravate them or they get scared, they jump like a little flea. Yeah, they just, they're
It's
gone.
kind of fun.
It is kind of fun, but they're kind of annoying. Like,
That too,
certainly
yeah.
annoying. So using, something like maybe spinosad would be helpful. Permethrin, pyrethrins, those are going to be more effective.
Yeah, and those are really good. They're not organic certified by any stretch. However, the spinosad is
Marginally, yeah.
It's the nicotinoids that are really the
Yeah.
ones that are bad. for the
Neonics,
beet.
yeah. I mean, those are the ones you want to try to avoid if you can.
Permethrin is another good one, and it's if any spray is safe if you use it by the directions, and it requires reading
Yes.
it.
Yes.
and
All
when
of
I-
it. All
Yes.
of the label. Yes.
Yes, and it's labeled as a booklet now. It's
Yes.
no longer just stamped on the bottle, so it
Yeah.
requires some. re-education as I have to do because I got it. I'll never forget it. And then what was that I was trying to remember?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
actually write it
Or
on the bottle.
I know. I do a lot of times too because you always forget. It's like, how many tablespoons per gallon do I use on this or whatever? You know. So like whenever you read it, if you do write it down with a Sharpie, like it's the way to go. Right on the label.
It is.
And if you have pump-up sprayers that you use, designate specifically. If you're going to use one for herbicide, never use it for insecticides or fungicides. Just don't ever.
Just don't. I've got 3 different.
They don't cost that much.
No.
And the damage you can do with one spraying
Detrimental.
It's incredible.
It's devastating.
So
Yeah,
sad.
I've got 3 1-gallon sprayers, and all 3 of them are labeled with a Sharpie: herbicide, fungicide, insecticide, and I don't mix.
So organized.
Yes.
That's the only
That's right,
safe way to
Caroline.
do it.
Got to be organized with the sprays, okay? That's serious stuff.
Well, I'm organized with our hydrangea questions. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. Any good full shade hydrangeas or flowering bushes besides azaleas?
Oh yes, I mean there's shade hydrangeas.
There's a lot
for
of
sure.
shade
I mean
hydrangeas.
Annabelle that David grows comes to mind. My Incrediballs, those arborescens type literally will take deep, heavy shade. I've seen it, y'all. Now they can handle sun.
Yeah, mine are in full sun.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a great thing about them is you have quite a wide range of adaptability on those because of the. I think it has to do with the chlorophyll B levels. It's best I did a little research.
B3
on it.
or B12?
No, it's just,
Just regular
chlorophyll B,
Okay.
which is the one that is dominant in lower light conditions. That the plants that have that tend to have thinner leaves, and so the light transmissiveness and the ability to grab whatever is there, and that takes up the light that's in the red end of the spectrum, so that it's able to.
Red, green,
It
yellow,
doesn't have
green,
to have
violet.
that bright, but it can handle the bright. So
Yeah, and there's a lot of other plants that can handle shade and still bloom. Like we talked about clethra earlier. Me and Ryan talked about clethra.
Mine's
Ryan.
in full shade.
Yeah.
And it blooms.
And it blooms.
like crazy.
And it'll bloom in the full sun too. Like there's a lot. And we had a guest yesterday ask us a question about like what plants can I grow besides hosta and heuchera?
Yeah.
I'm like about
so many.
100 more in the shade. Like there's a lot that you can grow, and you got to come out and talk to us. We know, we observe, we look. We take notes. Well, I don't really, but other people do. And we know what can grow in the shade. Come
you
out.
do take notes; they're just mental notes.
There you
Keeps
go.
them all in that brain, that
Yeah.
head of yours.
That enthusiastic brain of his.
My paper bush, I planted mine. I had it sitting in some sun when I bought it this year. Now I've planted it in full shade. And as far as leaves go, it is growing a lot. It's growing better in the shade than when it was getting any direct sunlight. And I know it blooms in the late winter, early spring. So.
Yeah. Nice.
That's also another option. Kind of more of a tree, but it does get some dieback here in Middle Tennessee. All right, should I be worried about my oak leaf hydrangea? The blooms are brown, and there are some browning on the edges of the leaves.
I would be devastated.
Well, one of the biggest problems that people have in horticulture is failure to worry sufficiently.
It's-
So first of all, double up on your worry. Whatever,
Wrap it back around.
However much
Ooh.
you're worried right now, worry twice that much. It may not make a difference, but at least
Journaling helps, though. Yes,
that way
journaling
you can
helps,
keep
yes.
up with the
Ye-
worries.
yes. I
On
knew it
a
would.
chronology.
It's funny to me. Some people like the dried brown blooms and like they want to leave them on. I don't. I cannot stand that. It's like I gotta cut them off.
like them.
I like
Yeah.
them too. I leave
I know.
mine up on my limelight.
It's kind of like a 50-50 scenario. Some people like that. With an oak leaf, it's not my favorite with oak leaf specifically.
Those are a little different. They get kind of mushy and.
But if you've
they're not
had
the
a
same as
really
the
wet,
panicles.
rainy season, they're not as attractive. If you've had
Yeah.
more dry weather, they really are become persistent and hang on and look nice for a lot longer. But they can get ratty and nasty looking if you're having excessive rain.
Yeah, but to answer your question, your brown blooms is just natural. That's what happens with hydrangeas. I mean, oak leaf is the first one to bloom, so it's the first one to finish. And once it finishes, it goes that brown color. It's just trying to go to seed. I mean, that's what plants do.
I don't care for it either, Austin.
Yeah, see? I'm serious. It's like a 50-50 scenario. So if you don't like it, just go down, go where the bloom is, go down below that to the leaf set that you want to keep, and then cut right above that leaf set, and that'll remove that bloom, get rid of all those old ones, and then you'll have leaves. And then a lot of times with oak leaf, it'll send a second little flush, and you'll have a new growth phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
I know. I don't know why I used that word.
It was a great word.
I bet you can't spell it.
You're probably right.
I was ready for you to try.
Nope.
Hey, Risha's got a question about her oak leaf hydrangea. I have an oak leaf hydrangea whose leaves had what looked like witch's broom. Is this due to heat, or is it a pathogen or virus?
I just had this question the other day from it was Donna Brooks the other day actually.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Donna came out. Shout out to Donna.
Hope you're doing well. She had a little bit of a weird stuff happening on her panicle hydrangea. My first question that I always ask typically is there Roundup being used anywhere close? And I mean, I've even heard people, no, I didn't get my Roundup anywhere close to that. And it's like, yeah, but
somebody did.
Potentially. I mean, drift can happen. Those little tiny little spray droplets can happen.
Hence the notion of catch my drift.
Exactly.
That really was a Roundup.
Was it really?
Yes, that was a Roundup reference.
Wow.
Wow. I did not.
No.
I was like, oh my God.
Got us.
You fooled us all. Wow, David, that was good.
But Risha, with you along with Donna the other day, I mean, the best thing you can do is literally just cut it off. I mean, if it is a virus, it will probably slowly take the plant. You know, viruses are not all that big in the hydrangea world. You don't see that very often. But if you see a weird witch's broom, cut it off. Just cut it off. And then observe. Cut it off and observe. That's all we can do.
Cultivate it, and you can maybe create.
I would wonder if this is in her front yard or her backyard, because I believe her neighborhood has an HOA that they take care of the fronts. Not sure about that.
It could be.
So
people that come to maintain other people's yards do not care about Roundup.
Well,
they don't care about your yard. They're not getting paid.
I always heard the biggest difference between the front yard and the backyard is you can always tell the really respectable families that they fight in the backyard. They don't fight in the front yard.
That's right.
So it's the way that works. But
you can put the couch on the back porch, but not on the front porch. What is it, you elitist? Come on.
Well,
man.
For 3 generations we've been fighting in the backyard.
I understand.
At Bates Nursery and Garden Center, and we really are very fortunate for 92 years now. My grandmother, that if you see our little web page there, Nanny, as we all of us grandkids called her, she was really quite she was just an amazing lady, and she never met a stranger in her life, and what you see today is a direct result of the enthusiasm that she had, not just for plants but for people. And so we really try to carry that forward in everything that we do. So the Bates Nursery and Garden Center, with all of the plants we carry and all of the things we're constantly trying to do to create an atmosphere of gardening excellence, where that not just great plants and not just great amendments to grow those plants with, but expertise at a level that no one else can match. Right. And it doesn't really matter who you encounter here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Last week, we were all working in horticulture. Yep. That we don't do anything else.
No light bulbs?
Don't do light bulbs.
Air filters.
No. Caroline might get into a shopping cart thing every now and then. But what we do here is offer the widest selection of the highest quality plants, and we not just know about those plants, but we can help you work through issues you may be having with your own. And of course, one of the things that gives the best results as far as preventing issues is to plant them and plant them well. Yes. And we highly recommend Earth Mix Garden Products. And what's the deal this week, Austin?
20% off everything.
That's right. 20% off everything, only excluding gift cards and deliveries. Yeah. But apart from that, everything else is 20% off. Wow. So it doesn't matter if you're looking for trees, shrubs, ground covers, soils, pottery, everything.
House plants.
Yes.
20% off everything. So you
Japanese
need to come
maples too?
Japanese
Whoa.
Yes.
Wow, that never happened.
So anyway.
We got some good ones too.
If you've got some things that you've been kind of putting off, so, I'm really waiting for, hoping that they're going to go on sale at some point, where that time is now. So come on out and see us. We're here till 4 o'clock this afternoon. We open at 9. So here just in a few minutes, we'll be opening up, and you'll get to see that we're still working on pavement.
Yep.
Hopefully by this time next week, that will be in the history books, and we'll be ready to move forward and stop talking about it.
Yeah, it's going to look so good.
And the pottery sale, you still got a bunch of good stuff out there.
We still got
Yes.
a lot of that. We actually have a lot of everything.
Yeah.
Although when you first drive up, it looks like the way they don't have anything. Well, we've kind of got it hidden.
You gotta
so
go back in the back.
we've got things moved around, but hopefully within a couple of weeks, we'll have everything back out where it belongs and have brought in some extra things. We've had to really work carefully with our inventory just to be able to manage the normal amount of things we carry in much less space. So it's been a challenge, but and if you walk around here, you'll see we got projects going on everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's just the way we roll at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We appreciate you letting us be your gardening connection since 1932. We've been beautifying Nashville. So come out and see us. We're conveniently located 1 mile north of Briley Parkway at exit 19, right on Whites Creek Pike. And that's just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville, Donaldson area. And no matter where you're coming from, it's worth the drive. So come see us, Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. And thank you for giving us a couple of minutes to talk about that and to help you in your gardening efforts.
There you go.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And there's stuff that we have here at the nursery that we have here in this room.
What's in room with Caroline?
So just a small sample. We've been getting a lot of perennials in, and Bridget is like, y'all got to feature some of these perennials. And of course we do, because Bridget's amazing, and so are these plants.
She's got her perennials back in her section now.
She's back
too.
in her section. She's
Yes.
back tucked away in that little area, freshly paved area. She's so happy back there.
Back
and
in business.
everything looks so good.
Yeah.
I mean, looks amazing. So let's start with those flowering perennials that I brought in front of us. Austin, what's that little pink one that you were talking about earlier? Is
my
that your
girl? Is that my
girlfriend right
girl?
there? Is that your
Veronica?
girl?
That's Veronica.
That's
This is
Veronica.
Veronica?
Hey, girl.
That's Veronica pink candles. So
I
the
thought
smaller
Veronica-
pink one in the
I
front.
thought that Veronica was Archie's girlfriend. That was in the comic book.
Betty and Veronica.
Austin stole her.
Jughead.
It's
Yeah, I
Austin's
did.
now. And then we've got some
Stole your
salvia
girl.
right behind Veronica. She's right behind. She's hanging out. This is Lyrical Rose. So they're very similar looking. Obviously, you can tell the colors that I brought in right now. We went with pink and purples.
Yeah.
And then next door, we're just going through all the ladies. We've got Laura. This
Hey, Laura.
upright phlox right here.
Oh, that's so good.
On camera, that color looks electric. And it
It
kind of
really
looks electric
is.
in real life as
And
well.
they're perennial. Wow.
And they are perennial.
You almost see blue in it.
Really popping under the studio lights.
Good job, Tyler.
Just gorgeous. Yes, good job. Good job, Tyler.
Light guy.
I love upright phlox. I love creeping phlox too. It's a great plant, although it does have its issues. And then in front of it,
Don't we all?
we brought it. Well, I've got some issues with it. They tend to just start dying, like one stem at a time. So I started with 6. I've got 2 now.
Okay.
But I love my 2 that I do have. We've got some oak leaf hydrangeas.
Oh, the Andrangia.
Hydrangeas.
Hydrangeas in front. This is Alice in Wonderland. It's a little dwarf
That
oak
that
leaf.
is some
She's lost.
great
She's
foliage, by the way.
It is. It's clean.
I think I'm going to take 2 home today.
You would.
I would. Well, I've been wanting to plant some dwarf oak leaves in front of my porch where
And
I haven't
dwarf
been able to make
oak
my
leaf
mark.
is a relative
I was about to say,
term.
Tyler paying to me.
It says it gets 5 by 5. We'll see.
Dwarf.
Yes, dwarf. Yes.
You know what? I'm going to let you know how it does. All
Okay.
right. And then in the corners, we've got our deodar cedars. We love these.
I
They look
do.
great in the corner. I planted one probably about a month ago now. Doing great. I've watered it a few times. Probably not as much as I need to. With
No,
the
you ain't
weather
gotta
we've
water
had.
those.
Well, I
They
don't know
love
if
it
I
dry.
planted it when it was dry in the middle of July.
If you did anything,
Why?
any plant, that would be one of the
You
best
ask
ones to
why,
do that
Tyler?
with.
Because it's been sitting on my driveway. It was my Christmas tree. Every year I get a cool little specimen for my Christmas tree, and then I forget to plant it until the dead of summer. So
It was mainly
that's what
because it
is.
rhymed.
Yeah, but thank
Why
you.
in the dry July?
So next to it, we've got double dynamite crepe myrtle. So crepe
Bada
myrtle's
bing,
blooming around
red
town.
rockers.
Mine is not blooming right now. Not
Caroline, something's wrong with yours. It's sick. Why is it not blooming? Why
They
would your
were
crepe
late
not be
this
blooming?
year. The red ones were late.
yet. Mine's like a pinky kind of purple one, but I don't know. It's not getting full sun. Maybe that's it. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then what smells absolutely amazing in here, you can't even see it behind the phlox that we have. But we've got butterfly bush. I believe this is blue chip. David's going to bring some up. There it is.
I've got it
There
here.
it is.
Zooming in. Thank you, Vanna, for displaying that.
There you go.
No problem.
We love butterfly bush here, and so does Risha.
You know,
Rage.
and the newer cultivars that have come out the last couple of years in particular are such marked improvements over the original ones that came out. I mean, the growth is much more manageable now.
Yeah.
They have a much better branching structure, and therefore they don't have maybe the size of flowers, but they have greater numbers of them. They're just all around a better landscape plant. You don't need something that's going to get 8 by 8. Right? You need something that will stay in a shrub form. Most people's yards just cannot afford something that large.
Exactly.
Yeah, stay
Yep.
controlled. And then let's talk about our feature plant today.
Feature.
On our hot plate, or Lazy Susan, we've got Echinacea Rocky Top.
Yeah.
Austin's favorite song. Look at her go.
Oh, corn don't
Spinach.
grow at all on Rocky Top.
That's why. Exactly.
Yeah, you would
I
think it
that
would be
one's
orange.
misnamed.
Yeah.
That one's just something wrong.
Well, that's our
Well, it's the
straight
Tennessee
up
state.
Middle Tennessee
Yeah.
native, like
Yeah.
specific to Middle Tennessee.
And so y'all should come get these. We got some in recently, and I just love them. Look at it go. Look at it spin.
Why no, that is
It's slowly. You get that? Holy. We're featuring a flower, literally one flower this week.
But
It's all
that's what
good.
we have in room today. Y'all come get this Echinacea Rocky
Great
Top.
job.
Read it.
Caroline.
Thank you. Will you help me bring some of it in?
Bravo,
So-
bravo,
Yeah,
bravo.
barely.
Bravo.
You did pretty much all of this today or yesterday.
All right, well, let's get back to actually, let's get to a photo. Donna Brooks sent some photos in from her garden. We've got
Donna,
some
my girl.
crepe myrtle and hydrangeas that are looking stunning right now.
Let's see them.
y'all ready for this?
Oh,
Wow,
that.
that is massive.
Look at that Natchez. That's what it is, I bet.
And
David.
that uplighting.
I can't. What?
Donna's got some clean garden beds.
Donna, I saw you the other day with your cute granddaughter. Y'all were just killing it.
Yep, I saw you too, Donna.
Is that the moon? Might be the moon.
That is the moon. Or is that a cloud?
I mean, the lights
That
are
would
on.
be a strange cloud.
That almost looks like a picture of a picture where the flash flashed on the.
Oh, yeah. on
I don't know if it is or not.
the, I don't think so. I think it's the moon.
But either way.
I think Donna's just real great at taking pictures and
think-
gardening.
I
There's
think she's
that
just
crepe
killing it.
myrtle again.
Look at that. Look at that crepe myrtle system. Look at the framework at the base, y'all.
That's some great bone structure.
Oh,
right
the
there.
bone structure, Tyler. You nailed it. That's what we need. Donna, great job.
Great job,
Awesome.
Donna. I think.
And
Hey.
last little hydrangea treat.
And Donna had to
Beautiful.
prune out some of the weird witch's broom happening with her hydrangea. And she
Oh,
did
yeah.
it. She was like, you know what? I'm just cutting
I'm
it
just
out.
gonna cut it
And
out.
I'm like, yeah, what else you going to do?
If y'all want to
Beautiful
send
grasses,
photos
too.
to be featured on the show, or if you have photos of something going weird in your garden beds, gardeninginsideout@gmail.com. So the name of the show at gmail.com is the place to send those. So let's go ahead and get back to some questions. What should I do about white powder on my plants?
Oh,
Powdery mildew.
Powdery mildew.
I have it on
Oh.
my bee balm.
It may be one of the most annoying pathogens that doesn't really kill much, but it's
It's just
annoying.
ugly to look
It's
at.
ugly to look at. I mean, so anytime you can take lower leaves off, just take them off, y'all. It's better to look at a green stem than it is white leaves. To me, So now if it's on the whole plant, like your bee balm, bee balm's such a weed that you can just cut it to the dirt, just
Yeah.
get rid of it and let it regrow, and that happens with a lot of different plants. But
Frequently, that is the better way to go.
I think so.
bag it up and waste it away from everything else in the garden.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Don't lay it down there on the ground. Just
Don't do it.
Yeah, or like shaking it around. Like,
Yeah.
try not to do that. Like,
Don't do your
why you would
dancing
do
with it
that.
in your
Yeah.
hands. No
Sorry,
shaking
I
it
don't know why I
around.
said that.
Is that what you do after you pull up?
I meant like, don't get in there and like shake the bush all around and just get all this stuff up in the air. Don't do that.
Don't disturb the
Be
mildew.
very quiet. Go up to it, snip, and then like walk away, like
And
get
then
it
walk
away.
away real fast and come back 5 minutes later, get it again.
Snip it with a grabby arm so you grab the stem. It's already.
Tyler loves his grabby arms.
Tyler does.
He hates to bend over.
I can't. I literally can't.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you got it. All right, best month to plant common milkweed seeds.
Ooh.
Oh.
You know
Well,
what?
I planted mine in the
Fall.
fall, and
Yeah.
they reseed themselves like crazy. I feel like you could sow them anytime. Probably not in the summer.
Well,
Maybe
they
you
need
could,
they need
but-
stratification,
Yeah.
Well, what I
which
think
means
about too,
cold period.
is what I like to say is try your best to mimic nature. Okay, that's the best. Mother Nature knows how to do it better than any of us. Okay, so what does milkweed do? It blooms. It finishes blooming. The blooms dry up and they go to seed. And then those seeds drop off, or birds come out and get them, and then they drop them. And they get left for the whole wintertime, just lying dormant. And then they pop in the spring.
Yeah,
So I
leave
get
the-
this-
They have a very thick
I get
coating.
this image of the birds going by and grabbing them and then dropping them. That's not the way they. That's not actually the way they
It's
do
not
it.
actually how it works. You're right.
It takes this little side track through the elementary canal.
Yeah.
Well, and if you've got the area and it's got leaves on top of it, they don't rake the leaves in the woods.
No.
And so let it lay there until it starts to get clean in the spring. Let it go on.
That's right.
Yep.
Mimic nature.
Yes.
Nature. Mine just reseeds itself like crazy. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Suggestions for planting in morning shade with brutal western sun until sundown. And this question comes from Miriam. Good morning, Miriam.
Miriam.
I've got my Ito peonies in that exact situation, and they're doing great.
They're just a great plant.
They are.
Yes.
They're thriving. They're huge. The leaves on mine right now look fantastic. I still don't look at it and say, ugh, I need to cut it back.
And there's like a ton of plants that is perfect in this scenario. Like a morning
Rudbeckia,
shade.
Black-eyed Susan. That would do great.
Susan, echinacea, butterfly bush, hibiscus, shrubs, a boxwood.
There's a great many more.
Just one.
There's a great many more things that will do excellent in that situation than won't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the opposite is much more difficult to deal with. So it's just a question of how much.
Knockouts.
Knockouts.
Love it.
Sure.
Knockout,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Those
How
would-
much
kinda
room
like,
do you
what do
have
you
to
like?
grow what you're trying to
Yes.
grow?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Seems
we need
like
to
you've got
avoid
a lot
this.
of options.
Yes, lots of
Miriam,
options.
come visit us.
Miriam, I ain't seen you in a minute. Come on,
It has
girl.
been a minute since you've been out here.
Donna
All right.
said that picture was taken about 8 o'clock in the evening, so that could have been
That
very
was
well
the moon.
The
We
moon.
had a full moon recently. I think it's the
Again,
moon.
Donna's great at taking photos.
Donna.
It's not a photo
Settled.
of a photo. And she said, not a pic of a pic. So,
Nice.
Right.
settled it.
Okay.
My peonies are spent, deadheaded after they bloomed. When in Tennessee, should we cut them back? I don't cut mine back really until I start gardening in the late winter, early spring, and getting my beds all prepped.
Yeah, I mean, don't cut them back till they go mush, pretty much.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
They'll let you know. They'll turn black, lay down, and just go, I'm done.
Bah.
Done with this
You
life.
got to give
And-
up.
Yeah, and then you just
And-
clear cut.
Yeah, and that time is not Tennessee dependent. I mean,
No,
you-
exactly. Yeah, it's
wherever
anywhere.
you happen to be. And they have an incredibly wide range of areas that they'll grow in from. Way up north, they won't do great way further south. They don't. They're more of a cold weather plant, and that's the beauty of being in Middle Tennessee is that we're kind of in the heart of the transition zone
Yeah.
between
All
north
the
and
weather
south.
changes its mind over
Well,
Tennessee.
yeah.
Dave.
So we get the southern plants as well as the northern plants, and you also get the bad things that go with
Yes.
those as well. So it's what keeps gardening interesting.
yeah.
It is very interesting. All right, Josh talked about roses a little while
Yep.
ago. How far back should I cut my rose bush? Mine has not bloomed since April.
What kind?
Doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
The rose, it's more similar than
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, a rose is a rose is a rose, kind of when it comes. I mean, not
They all smell
necessarily.
the same too.
unless it
No.
is a non-repeat blue, a non-monthly rose.
Right.
Yeah. The hybrid teas and the grandifloras, the floribundas, the old school cool ones, like those, they bloom less than our knockouts or our shrub roses, drift roses, all of those. But when it comes to how far to cut them back, it's kind of like look at it and be like, okay, where's my good leaves? And like I want to get it back to where I have nice foliage here, and then I cut above that. Yeah, I use hand gestures. It helps. It's helpful to people, okay?
It is. I was just getting it in my brain and doing
So-
it with you.
She likes to mirror.
Get them back.
I do.
Get them back to good foliage, I guess is what I would say. Whether that's a third, whether that's half, whatever it is, get them back to kind of the good foliage. And then, you know, our great employee here, Pedro, of like 22 years, has been cutting roses for the past week. And you know what? He does the same thing. He's even taken some he takes back to clean leaves. Some we don't have a lot of clean leaves to work with. So he takes them back to where there's no leaves. But he knows, as well as we do, they're going to reshoot leaves and they're going to rebloom for you. So that kind of, look at your rose, get to feel your rose, get to know it.
And we're fertilizing them also.
Yes.
And fertilizing at the
Heavy.
same time, yes, is what he's doing. So that's always helpful with roses. They're heavy feeders.
It's easy to forget that.
It
They
is.
love their fertilizer.
They do. They hungry.
Yep.
I always forget to fertilize mine. We got a live question in. One more from Samara. Do dahlias have to be dug up here in Middle Tennessee?
Great question.
Don't
For
have to.
greatest success, yes. Okay. They're not as cold hardy as a lot of other bulbs we have here. So if once they finish, they'll do the same thing as peonies. They'll finish up, their leaves will turn to mush, they'll lay down on the ground. And then that's whenever you dig those bulbs, put them in a brown paper bag, put them in like
If
the
that
shed.
bag is white paper,
No.
it will not work.
No.
It
Yeah,
must
don't
be
do that.
brown paper. No, that's
Yes.
not true. But you know,
You're fooling everybody today with all
know.
these jokes.
dahlias are so expensive that you really want to try to keep them over
Yeah.
from year to year. So digging them up is a
I knew a lady that
worthwhile
put-
endeavor.
From
Took
growing.
vermiculite and put them in the vermiculite and then put them in the bag and then put
Could
them
be
in the refrigerator.
perlite.
Yeah.
Newspaper
Yeah.
works pretty well
Right.
to just put newspaper around them and then in a bag, and you keep them like not warm but also not freezing, so like in between.
Like
Keep 'em at
40
that
degrees
perfect
would be
temperature.
ideal.
Yeah, make yourself a
40,
a
45.
a
Right.
root cellar.
Dig
Build
yourself
a
a
root
root
cellar
cellar.
Root.
for dahlias.
It's root cellar. Also.
Yeah,
Root.
And if you leave them in the ground, I had a 50% success rate. So.
and that's about right. Yeah, I mean you can see them come back some years.
About 50% success rate about half the time.
Exactly.
Yes, definitely right in the middle.
Yeah.
But we're at the end.
We are at the
Wow.
end. Wow.
Another quick one.
Another one. Okay, folks. Next Saturday, we'll come back and do another hour.
Absolutely.
Hey, come out here to Bates and pick up some pottery and pick up some plants. Everything is on sale except for deliveries, which you wouldn't want to have
And gift
80% of
cards.
it getting it to you. So anyway, that's the way that goes. Hey, during the week, watch out for the signs because you're going to have a little bit of directional challenge.
Yeah,
It's not that big of a deal.
Probably Wednesday.
Yeah, but it'll be better, I promise. Hey, for everybody here at Gardening Inside Out, we thank you for participating. Hey, if you like us, like, share, tell the whole world.
Yeah.
We'll be here for you next Saturday from the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery and Garden Center.